Welcome back to Empower Her Fear-Free Life Series. And we are back again with our episode 2. And we have our amazing guest with us who's leading this series, Roxana Popet. So, in our last episode, which was the first one, we actually explored about what fear actually is and how you can navigate it, how you can identify what are the basic tips. And in today's episode, our amazing guest is going to lead us with the understanding of how our mind creates barrier when it comes to the science of fear. So, Roxana, how does the brain react to fear and keep us stuck in different patterns?
I so much enjoy this question, Faiza, because our mind actually works on fear. It is negative by default, not
Mm-hmm.
just keeping us alive, but it's
Okay.
trying to make us understand that there is a threat within every step. And let me tell you why.
Hmm.
Millions of years ago, when our ancestors were just trying to understand how being alive is, if they were
Hmm.
not 100% careful with active listening and having all of their senses activated at the same time, they would
Yeah.
be attacked by a wild animal. They would have
Oh.
their head stuck out of the cave, and a tiger could be attacking them and eating them on the spot. So our
Hmm.
amygdala, our brain has millions of years of information because the
Hmm.
reptilian brain has, like a sponge, adjusted through the years, through the millions of years, but is still
Right.
keeping the information that has been
Okay.
built on from the very beginning. So no wonder, Faiza, if someone wants to change their diet, someone wants to start a business, have a serious conversation with their manager to get a raise, no wonder they feel that change could be dangerous because the mind is
Yes.
behaving like a worried mother.
Ah.
It makes sure that we are protected, and anything that is different, Faiza, could mean that there's a potential risk. Let's say that you, Faiza, want to start a new business, and
Hmm.
your worried mother, your brain, would say, Faiza, this is dangerous. You are perfectly okay
Hmm.
and alive,
Hmm.
you would have these thoughts about starting a business. So why don't you keep doing the same like you did before? Because you were okay then. I fear what may happen, fear of the unknown, if you go into something that's new. Now, you could
Yeah.
say, well, Mother, I'm a grown woman. I want to try something new. I have so much impact I want to share with the world. I have a lot of
Hmm.
potential. I'm
Hmm.
curious. It's our need to grow. The worried mother, our mind, is the comfort zone. Now,
Oh.
your reaction to this, Faiza, says it all. Because if you reject your mother and say, Mom, I do not want to talk at all with you about this, I should not be having this conversation about my life with anyone. I'm going to do this. The worried mother
Hmm.
is now upset because you have rejected her. You reject your fears, young lady, you are not
Hmm.
anything anymore. You are going to listen to me because I'm your mother and I know best and I'm worried.
Hmm.
Something bad could happen to you. Change
Yeah.
is not okay. However, Faiza, if you start accepting your mind and your fears and change the approach with something like, Mom, you are right. It could be dangerous. I could lose.
Hmm.
I could make so many mistakes.
Okay.
However, what if you join me close, come with me to just
Hmm.
make the first step and see how it feels so that we can
Hmm.
adjust to it together as a team, making a team with your mind, with your feet,
Hmm.
by knowing that it's normal to feel the way that you do. Everything that we feel,
Okay.
Faiza, is normal. It comes with a message. The problem is that we put guilt, and shame on top of that fear. And sometimes
Mm,
the problem is not fear itself anymore. It's the doubt, the concern, the
mm,
frustration, the shame, and most especially the guilt that we put on top that makes it unbearable. Because if
mm,
we reject our worried mother, our mind, at one point we are going to say, I'm so tired of doing this. I'll just give up. You win. The worries win, the
mm,
other, the fear, the anxiety, the concern. So bring your mind into the system. Make it step by step with your fears by knowing that everything is completely human. We are humans.
yeah,
We are always
true.
going to have fear, anxiety, sadness, and anger, and happiness,
Mm,
and everything that comes in between. It's not about us not feeling these, but it's about not
mm,
lingering in a negative state for more than 1 minute when you realize that it comes with a message.
message, yeah. And we are not supposed to ignore that message. That's like the most important bit.
Liza, when you ignore it, it'll come back to you in certain shapes and forms until it's impossible to ignore anymore. Until we go into
Mm,
depression, severe anxiety, panic attacks, and it's very difficult to get out of it. So, the more you can work on these as a preventive mechanism from the early signs, the
mm,
better it is for you to keep a healthy mindset and to prioritize mental health more than anything in this world.
true, true. There's nothing more important than your mental health. And okay, so as you told us about the science of fear. You just break down the things, and it was very much clear. So when it comes to the NLP techniques, like you are the expert in that. So how the NLP techniques can actually interrupt the fear instantly, if we have any at any point of time.
We have in NLP, Faizan,
Hmm.
hundreds of
Oh,
exercises, mechanisms,
wow.
processes, procedures, and questions
Okay.
that bring
Okay.
our awareness to
Okay.
the most important relationship ever, which is how we treat our mind. That's how
Hmm.
our mind is going to treat us at the same time. So we need to become our best friend, number one supporter, best ally in the world, because I want us to
Yeah.
consider creating our support system here within. We always say that my support system is my family, my friends, my relatives,
Hmm.
my peers, my community, and that's wonderful. I love that for everyone. However, it's not enough.
Yeah.
Anything that comes from the outside, Faiza, is never going to be enough. What comes
Hmm.
from within is the
Inside.
only real fulfillment that you will ever have. Ever.
True, true. So it always starts from you, like us, right? So yeah, you have mentioned in our first episode that start from yourself. Just start building a stronger and deep relationship with your own self. And today we are here with the second episode, and again the core point, which I feel is really important, as you've mentioned that for the NLP, there are like hundreds of techniques and exercises, but first we need to understand it from within, and only then we'll be able to actually galvanize the people or the relationship around us. So this is something very important, and I'm sure for the audience out there that as we are progressing towards our further episodes, we are trying to break it down in the best possible way, which can be which can be understandable and relatable by each one of you. And Roxana is the best person for that. So today, the way she has explained the science of fear is something which can be very easily comprehended in your own way. Just try to follow as much as you can what you have understood, and this is definitely going to help you not overcoming, but in fact stepping on your fear. I really like the word which Roxana has used many times in her podcast as well, that step on it, step on it. It's not this overcome. So that is something that you're not in a denial mode, you have accepted it. So see you again with our episode number 3, which is going to be the most, we would rather say, in the word of the rumors, it's the talk of the town, that what will people say. So it's about fear of judgment, of what people will say. This is something very important which we are going to cover, and which Ruxana is going to make us understand that how we can deal with that in our episode number 3. Till then, take care.
Bye.